Get to our next caller in just a few moments. We are quickly running out of time for this segment, and when we do take a break, we'll be joined in the studios once we return by Margaret and Dr. Lisa Chapman, the new president at Central Carolina Community College, joining Margaret at 9:35 this morning right here in the studios. So be sure to join us. It's going to be great to have Dr. Chapman here from Central Carolina Community College along with Margaret. We'll get some great news about all the exciting things taking place over at the college here in Sanford.
Good morning, John. Good morning, listeners. And you said what a jewel we have here in the county. See, when we interview the Enrichment Center, we call them the gem of the county. Well, CCCC is the Disney World of Lee, Chatham, and Harnett counties.
Yes.
And we've got Miss Disney in here this morning. And I tried my best to rent a limousine. I just couldn't get one. They said they were all out because she had used one every day this week. Welcome, Miss President, or should I say Madam President, Mrs. Lisa Chapman, who is the new president of Central Carolina Community College.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I came even without the limousine.
I am so honored to have you sitting in the studio with me this morning. I don't know how to act. It's just so great because Lisa, you're not just the president of the college. You're my friend. We've served on numerous boards together, and you always had such a cool presence about you. You know, some of us get hard-headed in meetings. You have that cool presence, so I'm sure that you brought all that coolness to the college in your new role as president. And everybody I've talked to, everybody I've listened to, they said Dr. Chapman's great.
Well, I'm really appreciative, first of all, being able to come back home. And one of the things that you said is we've served on boards together over the years. So even though I had the opportunity to work at the system office for a few years, I never left the community. Our family has, we've been in the Lee County area for over 30 years, and it's a great place to be. It's a great place to raise your family. We see young kids growing into adults, moving away and coming back to do the very same thing. So I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate everything you always do for the community too, and all those boards that we've served on together.
Well, it's fun. You have to give something back.
That's exactly
You're going to be giving a whole lot back as the president. Tell us how you got involved. I know that you have worked at the college for several years. You've worked in various fields at the college. Then you moved on up a little higher and went to Raleigh. We didn't want you to go, but you went, but we got you back. So tell us how you got to be where you are now.
Well, so I will go back just a little bit. When my husband and I were first married, he was stationed at Fort Bragg, and I was working at Research Triangle Park. My education background is science, life science, and I was working as a biologist in one of the places in the park, and we needed a place to live that was somewhere in between, and we found Sanford, and very quickly recognized how genuine folks are here and how welcoming they were. And so we were both working in two separate places, living in Sanford, and as our family, as we started to have our children, I realized I wasn't thrilled with commuting, and either having my child commute with me or living further away than I would like, and learned about a biology, an instructor position at the college, and started teaching over at the college a number of years ago, and we'll just leave it at that. I was young. I was one of the young ones then that got confused. People confused me for a student. That does not happen anymore, I will say. But I taught for a number of years, fell in love with our students, and began to recognize everything our college offers. As you mentioned, not only to Lee County, but Chatham County and Harnett, we serve phenomenal communities, and I had the opportunity to teach in all of those counties. As the college grew, I had the opportunity to become chair of the math and science department. We began to offer more courses and more programming throughout the three counties. And then as I learned from some wonderful mentors at Central Carolina, so it was Central Carolina Technical Institute when I came, and then Central Carolina Technical College, and then CCCC, Central Carolina Community College. There are many names that I could mention.
I guess you're too young to remember when it was the industrial college.
I read about that. But so many good people who really taught me what a great opportunity we could provide for the community, and exactly how important it was to us as individuals to be able to provide those services. So, part of what I have been able to do has to do with the people who influenced me while I was at Central Carolina. A number of wonderful people. Moved into administration, spent a number of years in administration at the college as an academic dean, and then had the opportunity to serve with Bud Marchant as the chief academic officer, the vice president and executive vice president of instruction, and worked with a wonderful board, with a wonderful administration. And one of the things folks may or may not know about Bud Marchant is he is very good at supporting his team and helping them have opportunities. And the opportunity to go to the system office came up about 5 years ago, and I was fortunate enough to be able to serve as the senior vice president, chief academic officer for the system. So, we have 58 community colleges in North Carolina. We are the third largest system in the nation. And I got to spend 5 years seeing what is happening across North Carolina among all of the colleges. And let me tell you, we have a fantastic system. Now, I'm at the very best college in the system.
We know that.
But we do have a fantastic system. I've got great colleagues across the state. And I also had the opportunity to see what North Carolina does for its communities through the community college system. That isn't true in every single state. We have comprehensive colleges, not true in every single state. And we have opportunities like tuition waived dual enrollment, not true in every single state. So North Carolina certainly supports its communities well through the community college system. And while I was in Raleigh, two things that I saw. One, I could see where Central Carolina was doing some great things and moving into leadership roles within the system. We'd always been really good at developing unique programs, kind of being the first in the state to do that. We had always been, and still we still are, the leaders in career and technical education. You mentioned the Industrial Center. We've never forgotten our roots in terms of how we serve our community. So we'd been leaders in programming and had really benefited from folks like Jeff Hockaday, Marvin Joyner, Matt Garrett, and Bud Marchant. They really helped position us to provide the programming we needed to for our communities. But what I saw was we were also becoming a leader in how well we serve our students, not only with access, but beginning to help them continue on and be successful. And so I saw the leadership. And then the second thing that I was able to see is there were some other things that we could do that we may not be doing yet. So being able to bring that experience back and having the opportunity to serve here, come back home, you may have seen it written in some of the newspaper articles. Not many people get to do what I am getting to do, and I don't take that lightly. I'm very, very fortunate and excited to be here every day.
Now, while you were there in Raleigh, like you said, you saw what the other 58 community colleges were doing. You even saw what they were doing around the United States. So you saw the best of everything, which means you can bring the best of everything here. But like you said, we already have some things that they didn't have. I can remember our veterinary medical program was the first one of its kind and the best one in the United States, and then our motorcycle program, and then our photonics, and it was several others. And you were there with all of this. And what do you see? A lot of people are not familiar. They know we've got a community college. I do know if you go to a crowd, if you're in a meeting, say with 10,000 people, and you say, Everybody who has taken at least one course at the community college, raise your hand. Every hand goes up. I've noticed that. No matter how big the meeting is or how small, people have taken advantage of what's offered at the college. But then there are people who are not aware of all of the things that are offered there. And I know that it would take us all day for you to tell us all the things that are offered. But can you just off the top of your head tell us things like the Promise program and some of the other things that maybe John Q. Public doesn't know about?
Well, and you're right. Just as an example, I was getting ready. I was in the church. I sing in the church choir, and Sunday I was getting ready to get ready for the service, and one of the fellow choir members came over, and I believe her granddaughter is participating in the Promise program and came over to get registered for some classes. And the first thing she said to me was, I didn't realize everything that we do over there. Because people have one particular, because we're so comprehensive, and people don't see all of that, they get very used to the one thing, the one service we've provided for them. And so if I could just kind of touch on the different areas quickly, before I mention the Promise program, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that we have adult high school. And that's incredibly important for our community, because we help people get foundation skills that they may not have gotten many years ago. Maybe something didn't work quite right for them through their high school period, and they can come back to us, with us, and here's what's really important about that. Not only get those foundation skills, but either at the same time or right after, then they can go into a program that will help them be prepared for the workforce. And so there's an opportunity to pair that technical training and getting some very important technical skills along with the foundation at the same time. That helps students feel a part, feel engaged, and know that they're making progress towards being able to provide family sustaining wages, because that's critically important today. As I talk about some of the other things, something really important to think about, the founder, the gentleman that is considered to be the founder of the community college system in North Carolina, Dallas Herring, basically has said, our role is to take students from wherever they are to as far as they can go. And so that's why we're so comprehensive.
Great, Monta.
Students can come to us, whatever their educational background preparation is, and it's our responsibility to help them think about what the possibility is, to be realistic about what the expectations are to get there, and then get them on the right path. So maybe we do that because they didn't finish high school in the traditional high school setting. Maybe we do that if they come through an early college. Folks here, I hope, know about Lee Early College and what a gem it is in Sanford, but we have early colleges in all three counties. Maybe it is through the Promise program. So I mentioned dual enrollment is tuition waived in North Carolina. So you can take college classes while you're in high school, and you don't have to pay tuition for that.
Yeah, RV and I said yesterday too, but I wasn't here when we came along.
I know, and we're not going to talk about how long ago that was, and we'll just leave it there. It wasn't there when I came along either, but the tuition is waived, and now our communities have said, if you participate successfully in a pathway, right, not just taking classes that don't lead to something, but in a pathway, then you can come to Central Carolina and complete your associate degree tuition free.
Tuition free.
And what is so unique about the Promise that we have with our three communities is it is supported by the communities. And for me, that tells me how well respected the college is, and you know, people prepared that for me to come back to. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. So we've got the opportunity through high school, or we've got the opportunity if you're coming back. Well, what if you need upskill training? What if you are in an industry but you need to change your position? You need,
In other words, you want to be retrofitted to move on up.
Retrofitted. If you want to be, that would be a Margaret word for sure. So if you want to be retrofitted, we can do that at Central Carolina as well, and we do that often. Or also through our short-term training, we prepare you for many of the entrance level positions, not only in business and industry, but in a lot of the help field professions. We have customized training. So if a business says, look, there are some specific types of training we need so that we can either bring more jobs to our community, or we can improve the skills of all of our employees, we do that too through our customized training program. And of course, that again, all of our colleges do that in North Carolina, but we certainly do that for our communities, and you can look at several of our businesses and industries where that's taken place. And then we have what people would think about as the traditional programming at community colleges, although there's no traditional way we do it anymore. But we have a lot of career and technical education pathways that can lead you right to the workforce with good paying, family sustaining wages, or we have a lot of agreements with our senior partners where you can get that associate in applied science degree and then go on and transfer to the university, or you can come to us with the intention of getting to the university, and we have great transfer pathways. North Carolina has a comprehensive articulation agreement. That's not true in many states. One of the things that I used to talk about with our national partners, they would tell me about what a great articulation agreement there was in another state. And my first question for them was, so now tell me, how many institutions participate in that agreement? And invariably, they were talking about a 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
In North Carolina, we have 58 colleges to 16 publics. That is not something that you see everywhere, and it's not just guaranteed admission. It is not just guaranteed status. We've had teams that have been working specifically to make sure that you're on the pathway that you need to be on, and Central Carolina is doing a phenomenal job through its advising and working closely with our senior partners to make that happen. And it's not just with the 16 publics, we have it with a lot of our independents as well. So the educational opportunities that you can take advantage of at the college take you from wherever you are to
where you
anywhere
want to go.
Lisa,
our time is up, but can you briefly tell our listeners what universities we are connected to?
So we are connected to all of the universities in Central North Carolina: UNC, NC State, UNCG, Fayetteville State, North Carolina Central, Winston-Salem State, Campbell University, Meredith College in Raleigh, and then if you go to App State, ECU, UNC Wilmington, any of our other state institutions as well, the pathway through Central Carolina gets you where you need to be.
This has been wonderful. John was just sitting there just looking. He was so enthused at what you were saying, and I'm thrilled every time I hear you do this, because everybody, my family, my husband, my son, and I all had a part in our educational training at Central Carolina Community College. So it's always like home to me when I go there. Yes, all of it. So we want to thank you so much. And we know that this will not be your first time coming here, because you have so much that you did not tell us today. RV will just call me and said, can I get the president out there again? RV brings everybody out here. We are just so excited. I never have to worry about who am I going to interview this week, because with RV, he's going to bring them to us. And I am so glad he brought you today. And I'm sure our listeners are better for it, because they heard what you had to say, and you told them you can take them where they are and take them where they want to go.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, and you have a great Friday.
You too.
In the size of the articles and the pictures and all that, I wanted you to be able to see what we're doing, so
Right.
that you would know. We go back to sports news, And but anyway, this is exciting. I know you'll be excited. You go to that tab right there,
Yes.
and this is the only place you can get this stuff. I mean, nobody else will have conference standings,
Yes.
all the conference scores, stats for Lee County
I
Southern
love
Lee,
it.
football news. But you go here, Wilkinson Cadillac sponsoring this page. You click here, you got a preview of the game. Once the game is played Friday, it'll have game summaries.
Love
You'll
it.
be able to click there and see the stats, everything.
Love it.
Okay. Let's go back up. Conference standings. We'll have every team. They'll be in order once they start playing of how good they are, I guess. Total schedule for every team in the conference.
Wow.
All the scores will be here.
I love that.
That is great.
We will have somebody from Triton, Western, Harnett Central, and Union Pines texting me scores in progress. We will tweet them out during the games for people that follow us, and then we'll post them. As soon as the game's over, I'll be here at 10 o'clock till probably midnight and update every bit of this. And it'll be the best place for people to go. I'm going to try to use the high school sports to draw people to our site as soon as we get it opened up. I mean, and I think that will get a lot of crowd here.
And the fact that all of those schools are in your coverage area.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. This is, I went to sports broadcast. This shows all the sports broadcasts.